I was born in 1932 in Lwów, Poland. But I lived in Szerszeniowce, which was a small village where my father had a farm. So although I was born in town, I don't know exactly when, but we went back home, which was Szerszeniowce. Yes, this is my mother's family, and she was a young girl. This is my mother, the younger brother, her younger brother. My maternal grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather, these are different uncles and aunts. They're all cousins of my mother. Everyone in this picture, except my youngest uncle, was lost in the Holocaust. They were all killed. None of them were in concentration camp. They actually perished before by shootings and other means of killing people.
So there.
The first biggest trauma of my life happened when one day my parents were away and my grandmother and I were at home. I loved washing her hair, and so since there were no toys and for some reason nothing else for me to do, I washed her hair about 4 times a day. And I was washing her hair when suddenly there were screams and yells, and I remember my grandmother drying her hair and grabbing me. Well, apparently there was an akcja, which was that they were hunting Jews. And she ran with me through the streets. She threw open one of those doors and practically pushed me down the stairs and said, "Hide, go there," and I don't remember exactly the words, and she ran away. I finally got out of the cellar, and I don't know how I got back to my grandmother's house. I really don't remember that, or try not, maybe I'm blocking it, I'm not sure. My grandmother was shot in that raid. They were, I think, extraordinary people who loved this child, and they let me know it. So although I had different bad dreams and things like that, but for the most part, they did in some way show me warmth and love, and it was genuine. It was genuine from Mr. Surowiec, that I know. I experienced several of them when they got afraid that somebody might recognize me as a Jewish child. They were extremely thankful that my Polish was pure Polish. I never spoke Yiddish or any other language. I only spoke Polish. So there was because there were a lot of people who really wanted to save children, but they had either had heavy accents or didn't speak Polish, so some of them couldn't be saved, even if they would try. So that was helpful to the family, that I didn't scream out that I'm as a Jewish child, neither with my looks nor with the language. I was lucky. I had a father.
But this we hear very often when we talk with survivors,
right,
that in some cases the miracles were daily.
Yes, it was. Absolutely, they were daily.
In your father's case, because of his connections with in business with
well, they were all farmers.
Non-Jewish
right. Mostly
people.
There was no farmers, and my father was an extraordinary human being. And he had many friends, Jews, non-Jews. He was just a special guy, I think. I know that he was. And so he, somehow that's how, it was bashert, as we say. Right. And after the war, my uncle and my father came, and we stayed there for a while. My father, my uncle, the one that survived. Then we found other cousins, third cousins. Everybody who was never even thought as family became close family, obviously. And we made a new family. That was my father, my father's brother, a very, very distant cousin, and his sister, and the very distant cousin boy, a son, who also survived like I did. Of course, we didn't know that on Aryan papers. Mm-hmm. And we made this family. I went to Hunter. I went in as a freshman, but within 4 months, they had given me credit for 2 years. We lived in the Bronx on the Grand Concourse for a while. Then I got married I was a year in Hunter when I got married. And we moved to Jackson Heights,
my
husband and I.
That would be in 53.
Mm-hmm.
And you moved to Jackson Heights, and you had 2 children.
And I have 2 children.
First a girl and then a boy.
No, first a boy.
First a boy and then a girl.
Yes.
What are they doing today?
Eric is an attorney, and Jessica is an arts editor.
When did you move to New Jersey, and why?
Only for the schools. We lived in New York, in Jackson Heights. Then we wanted to move to Manhattan, and we would have to send our children to private schools even then. And then my father made my husband an offer that he couldn't refuse. My father was a builder, became a builder in New Jersey, and he offered to, take his son-in-law in, who was not very much for it because he was a photographer for all these years. But he then decided to do this, and we moved to New Jersey because of his new interest that he might go into business.